Hi everybody, it's Kelly here at Don't Run with Scissors, my channel here on Flosstube, where we talk about crafts, mostly cross stitching, sometimes not, and we get to enjoy Cujo. Her name's not Cujo, but she thinks she's Cujo because you hear her. That would be my about 15-pound wiener dog, Maisie. Maisie thinks she's Cujo. So we talk a lot about Maisie. We talk a lot about Maisie's sidekick, Lizzie. Here's Maisie. Here's Maisie. Oh, sorry. She's a little grumpy right now. I don't understand this. Well, I was gone all day. Lizzie is our 100-pound King Corso. Hi, Maisie. Yes, Cujo. Life is good. Okay. We're going to put the dogs down. You're going to go play with Bella. Go play with Bean. Welcome to my world. Okay. So I already recorded this. Well, okay. I already did a dry run through apparently because I didn't hit the record button. Welcome to my world. Stop. Okay. So it's Sunday night. It's now like 10:30 at night. Doesn't matter. I haven't been sleeping before 2 or 3 in the morning for the last while. Stress makes me have insomnia. It's great. It's great. So I've been going to sleep about 2, 3 in the morning. I usually wake up once or twice in there. And then I finally roll out of bed about 8-ish. 7:38. Not ideal. Not ideal. But that's okay. Whatever. Again, we're a little stressed out. There's a lot going on in life. And so, again, this is Kelly. That's me. Don't Run with Scissors. I am the mom of twins who are both in college. I drive a Jeep. I have 2 crazy dogs. And I craft. And that's essentially what we talk about here. Again, mostly cross stitch, but it could be knitting, it could be crocheting, it could be quilting or sewing. I don't know. Some days your guess is probably better than mine. I seem to fall down the rabbit hole of Pinterest. And so who knows what I'm going to be doing later as far as a craft, because I'll find a project on there. I'll be like, oh my God. And then I'll have to run to the Amazon, run over to the Zon or to the eBoy, and I will buy all of the supplies to start this new craft. I will probably make 3 things at most, and then the stuff will just sit in my room. I'm not going to make any other promises. I'm not. I did bake today. I made homemade marshmallows. If you have never had a homemade marshmallow, you need to. I don't really like Jet Puff marshmallows or like the store-bought marshmallows. They're kind of gross. Actually, they're really gross. Although I do love a s'more. But I burn the crud out of my marshmallow. Like, it is black, singy. It's been on fire. And that will probably be my screen grab, by the way. Yeah, they have to be black, burned marshmallows for s'more. And then I'm in heaven. I love them. I know it's weird. Other than that, in Rice Krispie Treats, like, you need store-bought marshmallows for Rice Krispie Treats, just because. My son actually likes the cornflake wreaths that you make at Christmas better than Rice Krispie Treats. But I don't have any cornflakes, so I didn't make any of those today. So I made the marshmallows. At some point, I'll have to get the Wilton chocolate, like the little discs. I think it's got the best taste for milk chocolates, and it melts so nicely that they're wonderful. So I'll dip some of the marshmallows in chocolate for gifts. And then I made my first ever pumpkin roll, and it actually turned out. It's really pretty. It actually rolled up nicely. It's very pretty. It didn't break. I had a little crack when I was rolling it after I frosted it, but it wasn't bad. And for a first time, I'm going to call it a win. I'm going to make a second one. Pumpkin roll is my son's favorite, like, Christmas, Thanksgiving dessert. My former business partner, her and her mom used to bake them, like, and they would make tons of them. And she would always gift us one. So I never had made one. And this year I just said, you know what? I'm doing it. So I finally did it, and it worked. So now I want to make one. There is a little bit of flour in there. I think my system probably could handle it as far as the gluten, but I'm going to try. I have the 1-for-1 like baking flour. So I'm going to try and make a second pumpkin roll this week using the 1-for-1 and see how that goes. Fingers crossed. You know, the worst case scenario is I end up with a pumpkin cake with cream cheese frosting. That to me is really, I mean, I know it's going to bake into something. So hopefully, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I usually do a lot of baking at Christmas time and different things. I haven't this is the first time I've actually baked in a while. So it felt kind of nice. Baking for me is sort of cathartic. And right now my stress level, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd like to say my stress level is about 487. But it's going up. So yeah. Which is also like my attention span to get things done. It's just not there. Like the ADD is kicked in a little hard. So I have all these things. I'm like, oh, I want to start this, and I want to do this, and I want to do that, and I'm like, oh, but wait, I gotta do this because I need the present done, and yeah, yeah. I don't know. I've been downloading like all of the sales that have come out. Jardin Privé did hers, and you had to download it within that 24 hours because then that part of the pattern went away. I hate that. I hate that. Because, yeah. But I have them all. Her 12 Days of Christmas. And then Gazette.com. It's a blog. They did a really cool 12 Days of Christmas as well. And they show their example actually stitched on black. It's really cool. The colors are very bright compared to some of the other ones. Let's see, what else have I downloaded and been collecting? Oh, Pines and Needles. They're doing like little Christmas motifs, and they've got like a lacy little border. That's what that means. That's lacy border. I've been collecting those little motifs, and they're like little. They're like less than 20 by 20 squares. But I haven't started that. The Merry and Minty Sal with Brenda Gervais from With Thy Needle and Thread. So cute. Oh my God. It's so cute. And I'm like, I want to stitch it now. So what I made myself a promise is that once I'm done stitching the 2 main projects I've done today, I can start that one. Yeah, I don't know. But that's my promise to myself. But I don't know. I shouldn't start another project. But yeah, I did my WIPCO board. I'm going to do WIPCO in 2021. So I have my board together. That also caused me a great deal of stress and anxiety because I was like, am I making my little boxes, the goal for the box to be crossed off when it's called, too big that I'm not going to be able to do that? Or is it not big enough and it's going to be like, oh, not a big deal, done. We'll see. It's my first time playing WIPCO, so there's a learning curve. I can, we can always change it. Like I can see how the first month goes and we can always adjust it. There's no WIPCO police. I'm also gonna try and do Stitch from Stash. I think that's a really smart one, and those should work well together. I'm in the No New Starts group, and I think it's a great idea, but it is causing me a huge level of anxiety and stress. And so I think I'm just going to count on I'm going to fail in January and still be in there and still really focus on, rather than starting and buying more, to just getting things done and that, and then, seeing how things go. I think that's a noble deed. It's a noble cause. So that's my intention. So I'm still going to stay there. But again, I have projects. I still haven't finished my whatever. I haven't finished it. I haven't done it. That is still on my agenda. It's been really rough at the office. I've had some huge things come up, and then I've got courts that are shutting back down and not accepting filings anymore unless they're emergency things. And even then it's taking forever to get through them. You can't get into the buildings to file stuff. You have to do them online. Every court is different. It used to be in Macomb County where I live. I don't live in Macomb County. I work in Macomb County, and that's where a majority of my business, the clients, are. And it used to be like if you had to file an ex parte motion, you would come up to the court, you would take your motion up to the judge. If they denied it, we never had to pay the filing fee, which is not huge, but whatever. We didn't have to pay for it. You would, if it was approved, then you would take that back down to the clerk's office and you would pay your money. Well, now that it's online, you have to, like, everything's the way it's done is, one, it's taking way longer than it should, and two, it's done differently now. And so and then I've got the probate court there aren't accepting new filings unless they're emergency motions. I've got, it's just in not only is every county different, then you've got the city courts in there, and I've got one court that I can't get in, and I need I need to look at the entire file because I'm new to the case, but I can't get in there, so I have to order the whole transcript, wait for them to make the copies and send them back. And then you're like, you probably don't need half of the stuff that's in the file, but I can't just say, send me pages 1, 4, and 7 because I don't know what pages 1, 4, and 7 are. I don't know what's in the file. And opposing counsel, normally, professional courtesy, we would just, sure, I'll send, if it's not huge, I'll send you a copy. What's your email? And we do that. We do that all the time. Well, opposing counsel on this case is like, too bad, go look at the file. Can't. The court is closed to look at files. So, yeah. It is also, as people who are, for those of us who are self-employed, who have a heart, I understand that many of my clients who have outstanding bills with my firm are not able to work. I just got word that one of my clients, who's also a good friend of mine, just lost her mom on the 11th. I have a very hard time being me, turning to those people and go, yeah, but what about your bill? I understand that you're not working, but why can't you pay your bill? They have little ones that they have to keep roofs over their heads too. I'm really struggling with that because the flip side to that is I need to be able to feed my own kids and keep a roof over our house head. I've already, in the last several months, I've burned through my savings. So I don't have a choice. And there's a lot of us out there like that. Who, a year ago, I bought my kids brand new TVs for their rooms. They got a new Switch. My business was doing great. It wasn't a problem to go out to dinner. It wasn't a problem to worry about. Hey, do we have gas to put in the Jeep, like money to put gas in the Jeep, or to budget? Like I still was very frugal and very careful about what I spent. But if I wanted to go a little extra, I knew I had that cushion. I don't have that cushion anymore, which is a lot of my stress. And yeah. So with Christmas coming around, I am doing my best. My kids know. Thank God I have big kids. I mean, they tell me they still believe in Santa Claus, and I'm so grateful that they tell me that because, I know they're smart kids. They whatever they know. They know that moms and dads help Santa Claus get things done. And they don't ever, like literally I asked my son the other day what he wanted for Christmas, and he told me, dear God, Mom, could we get some new towels? My towels are threadbare. I bought $2, they were like $2 or $3 a piece at Walmart, like 3 or 4 years ago. 3 years ago? Yeah, 3 years ago. And we use them all. I mean, there's 3 of us, and we use them all the time. So I've certainly got my $2 out of my towels. So my son has asked for new towels and underwear. Yeah. Towels and underwear. That's what my kid asked for. So yeah, so it's a little, like, as a mom, you just kind of, as a business person, I feel like I'm failing. And it sucks. And so I'm trying. This was not the tangent I was going to go on. So I apologize. What I'm telling you, though, is check on your friends. Most of my friends don't know that's what's going on. I have one friend that I have confided in and stuff, and I have fantastic friends, so none of them would like ever look down on me for struggling or whatever. They wouldn't. My kids are great. If they open up one present, and they're happy. They understand that this Christmas is going to be difficult, a lot less than last Christmas. Sorry. We have elected this year for Christmas. Last year for New Year's Eve, I made like chicken wings and all different kinds of sauces, and we had different appetizers and stuff. And usually for Christmas dinner, I do like basically Thanksgiving round 2. So I'm stuck in the kitchen all day. We open presents in the morning. They're funny now that they're older. They know that they can have their stocking the second they open up. They wake up, they get their stockings. and then they know to start the coffee pot and wait for me to wake up. And then when we're all up and kind of we always do fresh kielbasa. I'm Polish, and that's always been a tradition. So we usually do fresh kielbasa and cinnamon rolls for breakfast. So we get that going. Oftentimes I'll make homemade cinnamon rolls. That's been our big tradition the last couple years. Used to be, excuse me, I have the hiccups. We used to do the cinnamon rolls. You know the can, like the Pillsbury candy, and you peel the paper off of it? I have the hiccups now. Great. And then you put the spoon there and it explodes and scares shit out of you. So that used to be what we did. Well, then I found the recipe to make homemade, basically cinnamon rolls. They're fantastic. They're really yummy. So like I usually will make up the dough. I try to make up the dough the night before and have them in the pan raising, and then I'll just pop those in the oven. Put my kielbasa. We boil it for breakfast. I don't know. That's what I grew up doing. That's what I do. And there are a few things, you know. My family also used to do the opleka, which is like the wafer. It usually has the nativity scene on it. And so what you do is, at least, okay, I am not the expert on Polish things. Okay, let's just start with that as the basis. What I can tell you is what my family does. Whether that is right or wrong, I don't flippin' know. Okay, so what you do is you take the opleka, and we usually do it at Christmas dinner. And like I would break off a piece, and I would give it to the person to my right, and I would wish them, like make a wish for them for the new year. Then I hand them the big piece of opleka, and it goes around the table. So that's how we do it. I don't know if that's really how you're supposed to do it, but that's how we do it. Although I don't know where the opleka, like I don't know where to buy the opleka right now with everything going on. We have a little Polish market not far from here. Actually, there's several. And then if God forbid worst comes to worst, I could drive down to Hamtramck and find the opleka. But with all this, like, I'm going to assume at the Polish market in Troy, they have the opleka. And I just feel like this year, especially, we need the opleka. So everybody get your opleka. And I hope I'm saying that right, because that is how we have said it since I was little. Usually my mother, like for years, my mother got the opleka. And so I didn't have to worry about it. But I don't really talk to my mom anymore. Too much stress and drama. So, where the hell was I? Oh, anyways, for Christmas dinner. So, for Christmas dinner this year, we have elected to just do wings with a bunch of different sauces, and then appetizers, and just munch and you know, I'll have different desserts because I'll have made more cookies and stuff. So that will all be out. My kids don't really like almond cake, like the Polish almond cake, or the poppy seed one. It's kind of a dry bread. It's sweet, but it is kind of a dry bread. And that's not their thing, so that's fine. They do like Krishtinki, so those are those angel wings. They're like the big puffy, they're deep fried. I mean, how do you not like deep fried dipped in powdered sugar? So I may grab some of those to have. So we'll do that. We're going to do that for Christmas dinner this year, which is kind of odd for me. Like, I mean, I'll be popping things in the oven and taking them out, but there's going to be like from morning till night. We're just going to kind of graze and maybe play on the Wii or the Switch. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe a board game. No. The boy child has his Stitch that he's doing. He's doing the big French horn, so he can always sit and stitch. Bean doesn't have a stitch that she's working on now. Her sale that she's doing is with Climbing Goats. It's their space sale. So that will start on January 1st, and there's no frame to prep. So at least I don't think there is. I'm going to look and double check before I say it. Because then, if nothing else, she could prep it and do her frame for it. Because this will be her first stitchy piece. So that'll be kind of cool. Yeah. So if worst comes to worst, we'll just all sit around stitching and munching on stuff and laughing, hopefully. You know, my son has asked for underwear and towels. You know? I don't know. So I have been stitching on... Okay, so I've downloaded the Jardin Privé, 12 Days of Christmas, the Gazette Garden 12 Days of Christmas, Pines and Needles, their little motifs, the Brenda Gervais With Thy Needle and Thread, Mary and Minty. So cute. I can't wait to start. I want to start that. Like, I actually want to start that. And just kind of like, okay. What else have I been like saving? So we've been doing the steady thread. I've actually been keeping up on the branch one. So that's where we are now. Bulb 7A and 7B, which is this string and this string, this short one here, came out yesterday. Actually, ironically, as I was finishing up the stitches in, I think, this bulb, it came out. So 8 will be out shortly too. So I'm hoping maybe tomorrow night I can knock out 7A and 7B. And then when 8, then I'll pop 8 in. I did have some issues. So this bulb is not the same as they charted, nor is, and then I had some problems with this one. I'm not taking them out. I'm not. Because the reality is I'm going to finish this. I'm going to show you guys that I finished this. And then Christmas is going to essentially be over by the time I get to pick this back up. And so I'll be like, what am I going to do now? So it will sit in the pile that I have either back there of finished stitches that need to be FFO'd, or I have a stack that goes back several years. I think I have a stitch in that stack that I stitched and didn't FFO that was supposed to be my pillow for my rings when I got married to their father, to the twins' father, in 1997. It's still there. And now I look at it and I'm like, I don't know what the hell to do with it. I mean, we're divorced. Yes, we're actually, with everything going on, and with the kids and stuff in college and whatnot now, we've actually become better friends and work together better for their sake than we did for the last several years of our marriage. So, yeah. But again, what do I need the ring bearer pillow? It's a cherished Teddy little bride and groom. It's adorable. Again, adorable. What am I going to do with it? It's not like I can hand it to him for an anniversary gift with our, like, oh, look, it's our 25th anniversary. I don't know. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But it sits in that big, huge stack of stitches that need to get finished, and this will probably join it. It's adorable, though. It is cute. Okay. So then the other thing that I did randomly on my little, I got given this 18 count, and I actually have started to really enjoy 18 count. The holes are very small, so there are some days where it's like, but this is from plastic little plastic covers on Etsy. It's the Die Hard quote. I thought I had the blue to do the border. It shouldn't take that long, but for some reason, but I can't find my blue. What I should do, instead of worrying about, okay, do I have the 63 cents to go to Joann's and get the floss? I bet you it's in another kit, like in the Disney Princess sale. I probably have the blue, or maybe I could substitute it out. Although her colors are spot on. They're gorgeous. Once you get the border done, all you gotta stitch is yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. So I would like to get this done. I haven't decided. I have a friend who actually I have two friends who would probably really enjoy this, either in a little frame or as a pillow, because they're always the ones who are posting Die Hard is a Christmas movie. So they would probably really enjoy that. So who knows? I might finish it and it might get sent to them for next year. Next year. It's not going to happen for this year. I'm not putting that much more pressure. I am already on max stress levels. What I've really been spending most of my time on right now is Susie T Designs O Chemistry. My poor paper. Okay. So it was charted all in 310. That's why I didn't bother printing off a colored copy, because it's black. It's charted black on what? I couldn't leave things alone because I'm me. And this is where we're at. So here's the top. And it's on 14 count Aida. Just white, simple white Aida that I had. You know, I'm very lucky in that I have friends who will pass on crafts that they no longer do or need or whatever. The other thing is Rita Renee on Facebook. I'll pop her, like, in the caption box at some point. I'll pop her information. She sells Aida and linen by the yard. Her 14 count, if you do 30 inches wide, I think it's like $4 a yard. If you do 60 inches wide, it's $6 a yard. So, and then you pay shipping. So, like, at one point, I got gifted some money that I was told I had to spend it on something that would help me relax, because my stress level is so high that it is causing issues. So I bought a couple yards of fabric from her, and I think I bought 4 yards of 60 wide with shipping from North Carolina, and it was like 25 bucks. I mean, it was like dirt cheap. And it's great. And, you know, at 60 inches wide, that you can do a whole lot with it. So so here's my problem now. See these little boxes down here? They say ho, 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 which H-O, I don't remember what it stands for. Bean would know, and if I yelled over there, she would tell me, and I'd be like, oh, okay. It's element 67. So ho, ho, ho is supposed to go down there with the little, and it does feel like it's off-centered, but I know that I went longer over here just because I was stitching it in a groove at the time and it wasn't counting, and I was like, oh, who cares? But I thought I centered the tree on there. Clearly, I don't know. Whatever. I'm not unstitching it. I'm not. I'll add a snowflake or something over here. I'm not unstitching it. So, ho, ho, ho is supposed to go down there with 2 snowflakes, which is adorable. Absolutely adorable. But here's my problem. I have an older brother. My older brother's choice of first wives, he's now on wife number 2, and I haven't met her, and I don't really care. But wife number 1 was a piece of work. She's very interesting. You know, in the South, when they tell you, oh, bless her, precious, she's precious, bless her heart. Yeah, okay. That's kind of how I use the word interesting with most people. It's interesting. Okay, so this person was very interesting, and she didn't like my family. It's okay, whatever. And I have zero tolerance for a lot of things, clearly. And I will give you my last dime if I have, like, if you need whatever. Um, so I literally was in law school doing infertility treatments, trying to figure out why we weren't getting pregnant. I mean, we tried for over 3 years before we got pregnant with the twins and had a miscarriage and everything. I mean, like, we actually were taking the classes to do like foster to adopt, and we had one class we had to make up. We took off the week I think I had exams or something and missed that class. So we had to make up that class, and then we had our home study and everything. We were like, okay, it was more important for us to be called mom and dad and be mom and dad than me actually giving birth. So we were in the process of making up that class when we finally actually did get pregnant with the twins. And I wouldn't change that for the world. My kids are my world. They drive me 50 shades of crazy, but they are good kids, and I'm so glad that I'm their mom. Anyways, so I was in law school trying to get pregnant. I was working part-time, all this other stuff, right? And yeah, so she made several comments. There was some issues. My niece is 6 months older than the twins. So um, we would literally take, now remember, my now ex-husband, then he managed a movie theater. He was an assistant manager at a movie theater. It wasn't like we were like rolling in money, right? And I'm working part-time at the law library, um, on campus. So really tight budgets, right? She refused to work most of the time because she was married now. So we would bring food back for that, like bring up food so that like my brother would have food to eat, because she wouldn't cook for him and stuff. So she had several affairs in the few years that they were married. Um, yeah. So for Christmas, I used to buy her stuff that said ho 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 on it. Now you all get it. The irony is that my family nor her got it. And she would proudly display these decorations that I got her every year. I even found wrapping paper that said ho 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 on it, and I gifted them to her. I think the only year I didn't is a friend of mine and I were looking through one of those craft magazines. So while I was studying for the bar and the kids were little, like they were newborns, um, I managed the classroom program at our local Michael's at one of them. So I was always looking for crafts to like do for displays and things like that, right? So my friend and I were looking through a magazine one time, and they show you how to make a little angel pin out of a tampon. So I gifted both of my sister-in-laws tampon angels one year. And that was the only year I didn't buy that one sister-in-law something that said ho 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 on it. They both wore those pins all the time and didn't apparently realize that they were wearing a tampon on their coat, which just makes me laugh. Okay, I'm sorry, but that is just phenomenal. So I used to buy my one sister, now ex-sister-in-law, stuff that said ho 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 on it. Well, now I have a problem because I have my daughter who's not a ho, not a ho. She's a good girl. Like I don't know that I want to stitch ho 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 on her thing. So I think I've ruined it. Like the ho 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 thing. I don't know. I could stitch fa la la because FA and LA are both elements on the table. Or I could just leave it blank. But I don't. The other thing is the little squares for the elements on the bottom, they're like 20. Now this is 14 count Ada. This is probably, well, I guess it is more than I thought it was. That's probably about 4-ish maybe 4.5 inches. The boxes are 20 by 20, I want to say, or right in there. They're like 20 high. So then I'm going to be kind of cutting it close on my border. And I'm kind of like, do I just leave it off and call it done and make it the pillow? Because I think Bean would like it as a pillow more than a wall hanging right now. Like at some point, maybe she'd want it framed for her house. But right now, I think a pillow would be better. And it's already going to be kind of a big pillow. And again, if I don't do that stitching, I literally could wake up tomorrow in between some other work that I have to do, and I could turn it into a pillow and be done. I don't know what to do. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know if you have, like, or maybe there's something else I can go down there that I'm missing. I don't know. I think it's hysterical. I think it's absolutely funny. Bean will get the pun. She'll think that's funny. She'll think it's cute. I've tried to ask her. She's like, whatever you want, Mom. Doesn't matter. It's not like it doesn't matter. Whatever you want. Which either means she really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, or she really thinks the whole thing is stupid. But I did make her, as I was working with all that metallic floss, because each element, except for on the trunk I stitched in a brown, but each of those is DMC metallic, and I don't remember what number, but that's all I have left from the skein. It's like working with the devil's pubic hair or butt hair or something. I don't know. It's horrible. What I will say is if you cut your pieces much shorter than you normally do, that seems to help, but it's not fun. It's not fun. That's why I'm not gonna. So I told Bean she is not allowed to say that she hates it. She's got to tell me she loves it, and she can't get rid of it until I die. I did. Polish mom guilt. Cujo, pull it. Polish mom guilt is it ranks right up there. So that's what I've told her, is she's not allowed to tell, like, she has to, yeah. Other than that, I haven't done any stitching. I haven't knit. Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, this next week I need to get that done. I need to get at least one of the little sheep stitched up. I'm just gonna make it a little flat with magnets, and then I have a you know, that would be Kelly for frame. Kelly speak for frame. I have like a shadow box frame that I picked up from Joann's at like 90% off because it was a Halloween one, because it's black. And it's got like a twine little hanger. So I'm going to pop magnets in there, and we'll just be able to switch out the sheep. So I got to finish the little sheep. That's the other stitch I've got to finish before Christmas. But I want to do something selfish and just sort of, I don't know. As for next year, like I said, I'm going to play, I think I told you guys, I'm going to play Whip Go. I have my board all ready to go. I'm not sure, again, if my stuff is too ambitious. I don't think it is. I think it's just a matter of timing and that. And I'm going to do Stitch from Stash. The only thing, like most of the things that I want to start in the new year, I've been lucky enough. I have a lot of it kitted up already. I need more Ada, but we always need more fabric. So hopefully we can make that happen. Cujo's friend. Okay, so here's the other thing that I would, it's one of those like, ooh, can I do it? I want to do it. I have no reason to want to do this other than the sheer challenge of it. Artisy Designs has a pattern. It is the Florentine Chapel ceiling, the large one. The pattern is 250 some pages long. I figured if I did it on 18 count, I did the math. I did math. I'm actually pretty good at math most days. If I did the math the way I'm thinking on 18 count, I could order 2 yards from Rita, which would cost me about $12. So I would say 20 with shipping. Her shipping is not that much money, but it gives me a buffer. So now I'm into the project $30 because the pattern is 10, the Ada is 20. There's 73 colors. My guess is you're going to need more than one skein of each color. Floss around here is about 63 cents a skein. 62 or 63. Unless I go up to my local needle shop, which is still like 40-ish minutes away. I mean, I could order. I could order from her and she would ship it, and that's fine. That's still 50 cents a skein. So it's not like, I mean, like 73, that adds up. So I'm estimating in floss, I'm going to need about $100 worth of floss. Give or take. Probably give more. So if anybody wants to like be crazy and stitch it with me, let me know. It's huge. It's gorgeous. It is really pretty. Here's the other thing. Where the hell am I going to put a 5 foot by 5 foot cross stitch? I already have Pandemic on 14 count Ada. That's huge. I have Bean's periodic table that I'm charting out. That will be 60 by like 72. It's huge. Because why not? Mostly because I fell in love with the pattern from, well, he didn't make a pattern. The instructions from the brother who did it. So I have that huge one, which that will go in her place, and hopefully I'll have it done before she moves out. But that's still a huge piece. I have Van Gogh Jeep, which is a 2 by 3 foot project. I have several large projects. I have the Disney Cell from Cloud Factory that I'm doing. Plus, I added the extra movies. I'm doing, what is it? One Nation Under God. I have that one. That's a big one. Pet All the Dogs from Teresa Kogan is a big one. Okay. I don't live in that big of a house. And I don't have a ton of storage. Like, I have a shed out back that I keep my, like, big totes of, like, Christmas decorations and stuff like that. But, like my quilts, I have them on a shelf in our laundry area. But there's not a whole lot of storage. I mean, I guess at some point my kids are going to move out, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. Thank you. Thank God. Because I don't want them to go. As much as they drive me nuts some days, especially my son and I, we butt heads about some things. Mr. Man thinks because he's over 18, he doesn't have to follow house rules about clean your freaking room. So that's an issue. But I still don't necessarily want them to leave. I actually like them as people. I do. I like them, which is good. You should like your kids as people when they're over 18. You should. So I'm glad. But I don't have space for, like, where am I going to put a 5-foot by 5-foot cross stitch? Short of turning it into a duvet cover, which just seems crazy to me. Mostly because then the dogs would lay on it. And you've seen Cujo. I mean, I suppose I could actually just tack it to my ceiling, but that would be really weird. But that is an idea. And then I think, oh my God, what would the framing cost on that thing? I just can't even fathom, like, what the framing alone would cost. But there's part of me that's like, what I also know is that when I'm stressed out, I want these big, huge projects. That seems to be when I start them. I'm seeing a trend as we're talking. But it seems calming to me. I can't explain it. I have no idea. None. But yeah. See, this is another reason why no new starts in 2021 just doesn't work for me, for my brain and what I need stitching to do to my life. Yeah. Next week, you're probably going to see a lot of, like, you're going to see a couple FFOs from me, but you may also see some sewing. Yeah. Only because then the kids have more presents under the tree. Besides towels and underwear. You know what? I shouldn't even complain about that. The fact that my kids are so aware that money is tight, but those are practical gifts that we do need, and that they're okay with that. I've raised good kids. At the end of the day, as much as they drive me nuts about other things, they have good hearts. And therefore, I'm a lucky mom. On that note, it's now after 11. A video that I thought would take 15 minutes is now going on an hour. I think I'm going to try and drink some tea. Maybe something warm would help. I'm at the point where I may just pop a couple Benadryls and knock myself out for a couple hours, to be honest with you. I need sleep. These nights of 2-3 hours at most. I think the longest I've slept any night in the last 2 weeks is probably about 5 hours. And that was broke up. I also have a book I want to read. I started it. It is... Oh, Jesus. I don't remember the title. Big surprise, right? And it's actually not an audiobook. You can't get it on audiobooks. It really sucks because those I tend to listen to, like, when I'm stitching and doing other things, or I will even listen to the book, like the audiobook, while I'm in the bathroom getting ready for the morning, like when I'm showering and stuff. This one doesn't come on audiobook, which makes it a little bit more difficult because I can't stitch and read a book. But it has to do with the Holocaust, which is terribly depressing. I get it, but I think when we talk about any period in history, I want to know the personal stories. I don't really care what boat landed where and what tank rolled across what road. Like, I understand it's important, but I'm not going to memorize that. I'm not going to remember dates. That's just not the way my brain works. I'm 49. I get it. Like how my brain works a lot better than I did when I was 20 and struggling with those things. So anyways, this book has to do with the Holocaust, and it's shoot, I should just pause this and go and run and get it, but at the same time I don't know how to do that and then restart it so that it's all smushed together. But it has to do with how gays and lesbians were treated during the Holocaust and how they were singled out and they were persecuted as well. And it tells part of that story. And I think that's an important piece that I didn't realize before. I've read The Diary of Anne Frank. I've read The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, which is gut-wrenching. I've done a lot of that research. I just, with those stories and reading those books and stuff, that this wasn't something I had been in my scope and in my radar. So I'm very curious, and I really want to read this book. It's not a big book. It's less than I want to say 200 pages. It's not a big book, but I'm sure it's going to be a hard to swallow read, if that makes sense. It's funny. My daughter, when she was little, was fascinated with the American Girl, Kit Kittredge, and all of her stories and stuff. And Bean has Kit. We got her for her when she was little. And it was funny because, we had told her Santa Claus can't afford to buy every little girl in the world an American Girl doll. They're expensive. That's just cold hard reality. And so we told her, I said, why don't you ask, like your uncles and your godparents and grandma for like a gift card to American Girl, and then we'll pull them all together and see, And I said, and then come up with a business plan for. Now keep in mind, Bean was in kindergarten. So come up with a plan on how you can earn the rest of the money. My kid, God love her, she researched chickens and chicken coops and whether you could have chickens in the city we lived in. Turns out you couldn't have chickens, you can't have roosters in that city. She started taking orders from like my brothers and my mom. It's like actual people, like the next door neighbor, I think, had an order. Her teacher was like, oh yeah, if you can have farm fresh eggs, I'll pay, $2 a dozen. Bean figured it all out, right? We go to see Santa at this point, and I'm thinking she's going to ask for the doll. I mean, come on. Bean asked Santa Claus for chickens. She asked for chickens. So then I'm going, great. So Santa Claus brings her presents. No chicken. Brought her a Webkin chicken. Bella's gutted, right? She's like, now what am I going to do? I don't have a chicken. I can't sell eggs if I don't have a chicken. Santa Claus bought her Kit Kittredge, the doll. I think Bean was actually upset that she got the doll and not the chickens. That's the type of kid I have. Yep. And I don't know where I was going with that story. None. Oh, so Bean she did a lot of that research. The other thing is, in first grade, then she learned about the Underground Railroad, and her teacher then quilted. And her teacher brought in the Underground Railroad quilt, and Bean was fascinated. And so Bean went through and she mapped out how to get from, I want to say, Kentucky to Canada. And she figured out lampposts and like landmarkers. And then we found quilt blocks that went with those landmarkers so that she could have built her own Underground Railroad quilt map. I have to finish stitching that, like sewing those blocks together. That's how far behind on some projects. Like they sit in the box and I forget about them. ADD. So that's the type of kid, that's how her dad and I have raised her. or both of our children actually, to be very inquisitive about the stories behind the front line. You know, like, yes, it's important to remember their dad was a history major at OSU, at Ohio State, back in the day, was an honors history major, and loves history. And I like history, but he likes the dates. He likes the mechanics of it. I want to know the stories behind. So I'm reading this book. I have reached out to the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. to ask for some more information about some things, so that I can work on another project that I want. It's up here. I have several of those. One of them I'm working with Dana from Stitch Life on. But I have a few more up here that I really want to map out. So that's another reason I can't do no new starts, because I have to have these that get out of my brain. I have the hiccups and Cujo's. I'm not drunk. I'm drinking water. Okay, that said, this is now over an hour, and I'm just kind of talking. And the boy child has been out here twice, apparently to maybe ask me something.
No.
So, and he's holding my Maisie like a baby.
It's my dog.
So,
my dog.
That said, have a good week. Stay healthy. Stay safe. Wear your masks.
Be careful.
Be careful. Check on your friends. If you're close enough to somebody, check and see how they're really doing. I think we're all putting on brave fronts, and it may not be what's deep down. So it's that time of the year. And so, yeah, just check on your people. Check on your circle. And if you need anything, I may not have a whole lot of money, but whatever I've got that I can get you, if you need it, let me know. I can send you floss if you're a stitcher. I can send you yarn. I got yarn. I got fabric. I can make you something if you need something. I can send you homemade marshmallows, which now my son knows I have. So we may have to make another batch. So see you next week.